Are you struggling with losing fat? You need to watch this video and find out that there are 5 things that I see most of my clients mess up with, and it causes issues with their fat loss. Further ado, let's get after it. All right, folks. So, how people quack up their fat loss, and more importantly, how to fix it. So, most parents I work with a lot of parents when it comes to fat loss, is that they don't actually have a fat loss problem. They have an energy problem. And this is what I mean by that. So I want you to think about it. So when you're exhausted, right, do you skip workouts, grab whatever easy for you to munch on, struggle with cravings, and in turn, motivation to do everything you need to do? I'm here to tell you, it's not your fault. The real problem is that most people accidentally sabotage your energy without realizing it. And that's what's screwing up their fat loss, right? So I'm gonna go over 5 things that causes issues, the biggest mistakes that most people face, and how to make sure that you fix those, all right? So curious though, it's 2025, getting ready to be March. Who is still active with their journey right now? Who's still trying to lose weight? If you are, and you're still doing great, give yourself a pat on the back. But if you need help, all right, there's gonna be a special deal at the end of this video for you to get where you wanna be. So make sure you don't miss it. All right, so number 1, right, is a lot of times with people, what I see is they're skipping meals or under eating. So skipping meals or under eating. And this is what I mean by that, right? So one of the biggest mistakes, you guys can read that, is that they're thinking that less food equals a faster fat loss. But in reality, what it does is it slows down your metabolism and it increases your craving. So think about it. Anytime like you take something out of your diet, like say you're not gonna have a cupcake, or you're not gonna have a cookie, you're not gonna have pizza or anything like that, you restrict it, right? So you tell yourself you can't have it, right? And the problem with that is that you just fall into temptation. If food's readily available, right? Especially if you're at work and people bring in cupcakes for someone's birthday or cake, or it's Pizza Friday, right? If you sustain from that for a really long time, it's in front of you, it's tempting you, it's looking so good, it smells good, you're gonna eat it. Unless you get yourself out of that situation. So how to fix that problem is make sure that you're eating enough protein, eating enough whole foods, make sure you eat enough, right? Number 1, make sure you eat enough, and don't starve yourself. So you can starve yourself and you can probably lose a little bit of weight, right? But the problem is that you're gonna rebound and gain that weight back just as fast. So make sure that we're eating enough, right? Number 1. We're not skipping meals, don't undereat. A great way to do that is use a calculator. There's a bunch of them online, but a good rule of thumb, right, is take your body weight and figure out where you are, where you want to go, right? So there's a bunch of different calculators out there that can show you exactly what to eat, but you want to find the right food. So eating the right whole foods and eating enough protein, those 2 things together, right? You're naturally going to find your ebbs and flow of how much food you have, so which is your energy, right? If you don't have enough energy, you're going to be groggy. You're going to grab whatever easy, go through that drive-through. If this sounds like your life, trust me, after working with over 10,000 people, yeah, I know exactly how you're feeling. And more importantly, I've helped 10,000 people get where they want to be. So please pay attention as we continue down this path, right? So number 2, right, is you try to kind of quote unquote outrun your diet, your bad nutrition problem, right? So you're having too much cardio and not enough strength training. And the reason why, like, if you have too much cardio, why that can cause issues is you're just burning through a lot of calories. Too much cardio, frowny face, too much, not good at all, too much cardio, frowny face, and you're not building your muscles, right? So now a pound of muscle versus a pound of fat, right? At a sitting state, just like this, like I'm sitting here sleeping, right? You're gonna burn a lot more calories if you have a little bit more muscle, right? I'm not saying you need to go outside or go to the gym or any of that and go lift super heavy all the time, right? We don't have something that's sustainable for you, right? So, the mistake is doing endless cardio. It's gonna burn through all your glycogen, which is basically your sugar within your muscles, right? It's gonna lead to that dreaded skinny fat look, which once we want to feel strong, confident, right? So try to lift weights at least 2 to 3 times per week. So 2 to 3 times per week, lift weights. It's going to help you 2 to 3 times per week lift weights. It's going to help you build some muscle and boost your metabolism, right? And what that's going to do is that you're going to burn more calories at a sitting state like this, or even when you're sleeping, right? Which is going to be the next part here. I'm going to go steal my own thunder here, talking about sleep and stress. But if you're sleeping and you're burning more calories as you're resting, right? That's like a super, super hidden fat loss hack, if you will, right? It's going to allow you to work smarter, not harder. Or, if you enjoy running and doing a bunch of cardio, by all means, you can still continue to do that, but try to implement some kind of weightlifting or resistance training at least 2 to 3 times per week. It's going to help you, build those tendons, build those muscles. You're going to increase your metabolism, and you're going to feel better, right? So number 3, right, where most people really mess up their fat loss, right, is they have very poor sleep and stress habits, right? So dealing with sleep, stress leads to lots of cravings and fast stores. You play into your hormones that cause all these issues when it comes to gaining weight, right? And we don't want that. We want to have a nice, happy, free life. What's on paper and what happens in real life are 2 different things, though, right? So we can have wishful thinking, I'm going to do better, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and this. But unless you create some kind of thing that's going to allow you to, move better, change those habits, the way you react to things. You can't necessarily control what happens to you, but you can always control how you react to those situations, right? So how you control those situations. Because if you don't, your lack of sleep, it's going to throw off your hunger hormones. It's going to make you crave junk food and overeat. Same with stress, right? If you're, stressing and you have frowny face there, right? Bad sleep, bad stress habits there. How you deal with it can cause all these issues. Number 3, it's just going to keep compounding over and over again. If you're someone that when you're stressed out, you just munch on food, right? That's not good. You need to be active. You need to find a way to not ingest calories, right? Because if you're always doing that, it's going to cause a lot of issues. It's going to cause a lot of things that aren't going to help you. So what we want to do is we want to fix our sleep and our stress management. So this is going to be key for you to have sustainable results. So yes, we want to have good sleep and stress. So some great ways to do that is be active, go for a walk, unplug sleep and stress, right? Smiley face there. Unplug from all social media. Don't watch the news, things like this. You ever notice that sometimes when you're watching the news or watching a movie or watching something on TV, you're stressed out, next thing you know, you eat a whole bag of potato chips? Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, turn that stuff off. It's not going to help you, right? So making sure that we have a great way to react in how we deal with our stress or even getting enough sleep, right? Sometimes sleep is an issue. You're stressed out. It causes issues with your sleep, right? If you're not recovering, if you're not allowing your body to recover, right? You're going to be in this open loop system here where nothing's moving in the right direction. We don't want that, right? We want to become better. We want to do better, right? So, and let's say, for number 4 here, let's say you do good throughout the whole week. The weekend comes, right? Then you binge. Huge issue where most people mess up their fat loss is they're doing great during the week, but then the weekend comes, man, that cheat day, if you will, comes in the whole weekend. Next thing you know, you blew all the hard work you just did. So where most people mess up is their cheat days, right? They overeat or they drink too much or they do a bunch of other things that aren't helping, right? And all those issues, all that hard work you just did, man, blew it. So a great way to fix that is to stop the cheat day mindset, right? And just include the foods that you enjoy in moderation, right? So, there's a big push right now to not eat bread. I mean, if you're having a sandwich and you're eating lettuce as a wrap, right? If that works for you, continue to do it. But the problem with that is that you're eliminating something that you enjoy, right? So eventually it's going to cause issues, right? You're going to be right in front of it so that, perfect all week. Eventually you can have a whole thing of bread. Next thing you know, let's say you're at one of those restaurants where they give you the nice warm bread and the butter, right? Smells good. Or you go to Texas Roadhouse, get them rolls. You know what I'm talking about, right? If you're in Texas Roadhouse, say yeah. And you just eat the whole basket, right? See, that's an issue, right? You're not fixing the thing there. So we're gonna include foods that you already enjoy, right? Include the things that you want to eat. I'm not saying you need to go to your local Girl Scout dealer for the cookies, right? And just binge on cookies, right? I think there's smarter ways to deal with this, right? And again, this goes back to number 3 there, is dealing with your stress and sleep habits, right? If you're not dealing with those cravings right from the get-go, you're just keep ingesting more calories, which is your big energy level, a big problem with that, right? So especially if you're someone that has a very very active lifestyle already, if you're just filling it with the void with just crap food, you're gonna perform like crap. So it's no surprise that you feel like crap, but hopefully that doesn't surprise, not a big brain moment for you, right? So you want to fix the cheat day mindset. Include the foods that you like, right? Include the burgers, the pizza, the cookies, things like that, but just enjoy it in moderation. So include in moderation what you like, and the odds are you probably won't binge, right? And it's when you restricts too much stuff where the problem is. Include in moderation what you like. Where you exclude too much stuff all at once, it causes all these issues, all these problems, all these things that aren't going to help you, right? So, and then number 5, where I think everyone messes up, right? They're not patient. The big P word, right? They're not patient. They quit too soon because the results aren't boom right there and then, right? And then what that leads to is they hop to a different thing. They go from Beachbody to fasting to CrossFit to walking to ice baths to supplements to shots, all these things that, if you're not fixing the underlying problem, you're not sticking to a plan, right? You're not if you're jumping from one thing to the other, like you're like a squirrel, like a dog, squirrel, all over the place, you're never gonna get the results you want, right? You have to be consistent with what so lack of patience, right? Lack of patience, no direction, right? You're not going in, you're like in an endless loop. So I'm not sure if you all noticed this yet, but everything that we're talking about, it's all coming in a circle, right? So the first one we're talking about is you're skipping meals or under eating. That's gonna cause you to feel like you need to do a whole bunch of other things, like adding a bunch of cardio or not having enough strength training. Your stress and your sleep are all out of whack, so you're having cravings and you're not eating the stuff you need to, which leads into your binge mentality. You're perfect throughout the whole week, and all of a sudden you have something in front of you and you can't control yourself, right? Which leads to lack of patience, and you go from one thing to the other, right? It's an endless madness. But what we need to do is just stick to what we're doing. So focus, complete focus on the small, simple things equals a smiley face. So it's crazy how the small things, right? Small, simple things, if you focus on those, the underlying habits, the low-hanging fruit, if you will. So how those things, if you just focus on those, you'll do great things, right? My most successful clients that have lost the most weight, all they do is just slightly track their nutrition and walk, and we do some weight-bearing exercises 2 to 3 times a week, kind of like what I just said. I mean, that's really the recipes for success. But where I really get everything rolling for them And why the magic does happen is we build a program that makes sense for them, and I write it in the language that they understand, right? You know, I don't want to speak Chinese to you if you're not Chinese, right? It's not going to help you. We want to meet you exactly where you're at, right? Meet you where you need to be. So hopefully this is making sense. Hopefully you understand you know, this methodology of the, you know, the 5 things that are going to help you. So what I want you to imagine now, right, is let's imagine we're creating you know, a meal plan or something like that fits your lifestyle. Include your favorite foods. It helps you actually lose weight, right? So on Monday, I have a program starting. It's an 8-week program. It's my Nutritional S program. We're going to install these habits, these things into your lifestyle without, you know, doing anything too crazy. You're not going to restrict any, you know, dietary aspect of how you're currently doing things. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. We already have the wheel. We just got to install it in you and make sure it works for you, right? And then each week's going to build upon itself. So if you're interested in this, and you feel like it would be a good thing for you, in the comments below, put nutrition, right? And I'll reach out to you and make sure that it's a good fit and you get where you want to be. But hopefully this study, these 5 things that, you know, did give you some good aspects and some insight on how you can fix your fat loss problem, so you don't, you know, keep messing up and do this endless loop of losing the same 5-10 pounds over and over again, because ain't no one got time for that, right? So what we want to focus on here is those 5 things. Combat that. If you're someone that needs help, right? This is the hands reaching out to you. You gotta grab it, right? I can lead a horse to water, can't make a drink from it, right? If you're someone that's gonna keep making excuses over and over again, these programs are not for you, right? If you're not someone that's committed to taking action, if you're someone that's got to think about it, right? I'm not a good coach for you, right? I need someone that's ready to jump fully in right now, right? Program starts on Monday. So you got to jump head in, get you where you want to be. All right, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Get you on the flippity flop. Peace.